How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Very happy to see you again.
Likewise.
And why don't you tell us what you've been up to?
Oh God, where to start? Holy crap.
So let's rewind 6 years.
Okay. So the first time I shot for Score, I was newer to the industry, only in for a couple of months at that point, I think. Yeah, actually, almost exactly a year, and I was still learning my ins and outs of the job. Of course, that's a learning experience, and I was also learning about opportunities to seize and things that goals to make, and I have been doing quite a bit.
That's great.
Yeah.
Had you shot before you shot with us, or had you already been shooting?
It was several months after I began shooting, but yeah, the Score shoot was a big one for me.
So you're still pretty pretty much a newcomer then.
Oh, I definitely was. It got my name out and my image and my brand out to people who wouldn't have seen it otherwise, and I was really grateful for that.
Oh, that's great. So basically your modeling career has taken off. It's been good.
Oh yeah, like crazy. I mean, I launched my own production for myself. I started making my own content. I've got my websites, and
That's amazing.
yeah, and I've started merchandising. I mean, I'm thrilled.
Oh, that's great. How does it change your sex life? Would you say your sex life before you started shooting and now is different, or? That smile.
I started shooting porn because my personal sexual habits were becoming dangerous.
Oh, okay.
And doing porn was a safe alternative for me to exercise my carnal desires without exposing myself to potential danger.
Oh, okay. Well, we're good that we helped you out with that.
You're so nice.
So what kind of little sexual escapades have you been up to?
Lately?
These past 6 years. It's been a while.
Oh God. Well, I mean, I'm a firm believer in being honest on camera and off. So anything that I really want to enjoy, things that I want to try, I'm going to do it. I've never been a person to be held down, to be silenced, to be what's the word I'm looking for? Bound,
okay.
By industry, standards, or by the higher ups telling me I should do this and I should do that because it'll make me last longer. And my thought process is, I'm going to do what kind of sex scenes I feel like doing because I want to fuck in that manner. So I've done pretty much everything. And of course, it has nothing to do with industry standards. I did my very first IR, interracial scene, was my first scene. I've done plenty of trans scenes. I've done bi scenes. I've done cuck scenes. I've done everything. And because the sex is awesome.
Yeah.
So if you can think of the type of sex that there is to have, I've done it.
So would you say your own enjoyment or your own exploration is definitely up there, and with your career also as a model?
I don't
like your own that it's really important for you, the things that you want to that give you pleasure, that give you joy, incorporating that into what you do as a shooting.
Well, yeah, I mean, if a girl's going to look half decent on camera, it has of course something to do with her body, but it's all about attitude, I think.
Exactly, that's what.
Because if somebody's bored or if they're faking it, the audience is definitely going to be able to tell. And I got some very good advice from an esteemed long-term colleague once when I first started. He said for me to do the sex scenes I wanted to do, or my fans would pick up on it and they would classify me as fake, and I would only last as long as most of the people who only last a short time. And I took that to heart, and I started asking for scenes and producing scenes and accepting scenes that, yeah, it's freaky. Let's get this shit going, right? Ooh, yeah. I do the things that my vagina wants to do.
There you go.
My pussy calls the shots.
And I'm sure your pussy's been treating you very well.
Oh, she's a nice girl.
She's a nice girl. Does she have a name?
Regina.
Oh, Regina.
It's Latin for queen.
That's great. So how has it changed your personal life at all? Dating? Do people recognize you?
Wow. Many first-time performers who
great.
happen to be fans first.
Oh, lovely.
And they come up to me, and of course they have to go through all the testing procedures and the registrations. But once they do that, they're just as safe as anybody who's been in for 10 years. And I've performed quite a few scenes with first-timers.
Well, so you hear that, guys? Mm-hmm. Don't let it stop you.
No, I'm serious. If you're interested in performing, let somebody know. And as long as you're willing to get tested and registered, you're good. Mm-hmm. Like, that's awesome. But yeah, my personal life has definitely changed. I've grown an appreciation for separating my home and my personal life.
That's nice. So, no, like going back to so you were saying that you ended up dating a fan.
Mm-hmm. We dated. We wound up getting married.
Oh wow!
And and then he decided he wanted to dictate for me who I did and did not work with. Mm-hmm. And my ex-husband was not white, mm-hmm. but he hated anybody who was black. Mm-hmm. It just blew my mind. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't understand. How do you how are you a racist? Like, that makes no sense. Like, you knew I did these kind of scenes when I started doing this for a living, and now you're going to try to tell me that I can't do this work after we're married. I said, fuck that shit. Yeah. We're not married anymore, right? And I'm going to fuck all the black guys I want, and black women too, because, I don't discriminate, okay, honey?
Yeah.
I'm all over the board. Like, if it's healthy and it's adult, I'm going to do it.
You're a pleasure goddess.
Oh my God, so much.
There you go.
But then I took a break from dating fans for quite some time. And when I go out to public, I try to not announce who I am. Mm. I don't wear makeup. I don't wear clothes like this. I'm almost always in gym clothes. And I still get recognized. And people, for the most part, are super cool about it. I mean, they're very respectful. If we're in public, they don't want to embarrass themselves or me. But then every once in a while, I fall into a trap in public with a couple whose, other half gets caught admiring me or recognizing me, and then the spouse wants to know why.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. That just happened to me last week, I think. Yeah, it was last week. Husband and wife sitting at a table in a bagel shop of all fucking places.
Oh, wow.
And the wife was not comfortable with herself physically, or either that or her husband was disrespectful in some way to her. But he alerted her to the fact that he knew who I was. And she looked at me and she gave me the shittiest hard time. So you know what I did, right?
Oh, no. What'd you do?
I walked up to the table because I saw this was happening. And I was with family at the time. And my family's used to this. Like,
you gotta have a bumper sticker. What would Laura do?
Right. I've groomed them, so they're totally used to it. And I only react in a certain way when it gets to be a bother for me. Mm-hmm. And the way that she was acting in front of my family was very rude. So I walked up to the table and I looked at the husband and I said, have we met? Because you look awfully familiar.
Oh, wow.
We know each other, right? And the woman says, why, are you a lawyer? And I says, maybe.
Oh, she must have been so mad.
She was really mad, but what could she do? They were going to admit to the whole public, the store, that her husband had gotten caught admiring his favorite porn star. I mean, come on, lady,
Oh my God, that's great.
So I left with my head held high, and my family was high-fiving me in the parking lot. It was great.
Oh, that's great. That's great that your family has, they support you and all that.
No, yeah, they totally do. My distant family is not happy about it, but they don't give me a hard time about it. Mm-hmm. They don't exactly go out and tell their friends, hey, yeah, she's part of us. No, they don't do that. Yeah. But yeah, I've grown quite a bit since the last time I am taking better care of myself and my happiness. I've hired a staff to help manage all of the things that